Howdy doody guys. Okay, so you've been watching Trade First algorithm videos. I showed you one with 2 digits and here's one with 3 digits too in case you want to work on problems like this. So once again, we have the bigger number on top, the smaller number on the bottom. That's how we subtract. We have to take the smaller number from the bigger problem, or from the bigger number. So here I'm going to switch over to a green pen. We're going to start with the ones column. Can we take 5 from 6 or 6 minus 5? We can, so we're fine here. So we can just go ahead and do our subtraction. 5 from 6, or you can say 6 minus 5 would be equal to 1. Okay? You can go over to the middle column and look at the tens and look at 1 from 5, which you can do, where 5 minus 1 is equal to 4. You can look over at the hundreds column and ask yourself if you can subtract 2 from 3 or 3 minus 2, which you can. That's 1. So this is we didn't have to trade in this problem, so I'm showing you that it can be done without trading. But sometimes what happens is that you have numbers that get kind of tricky and we mix them around. I'm going to give some different numbers here that are a little bit more challenging. Okay, let's take a look at this now. I'm going to switch it up on you a little bit. Now we have to trade in this problem. We cannot we're still going to start in the ones column, by the way. We cannot take 5 from 3. It's impossible. You can't do it. So we have to go look next door at our closest neighbor to see what they have to offer. Now, there is a 0 in the tens place, so they have nothing to trade. They're like, sorry, dude, no cookies. So we're like, all right, we're going to go over to the next house. So we walk over to the hundreds house, and here they're like, yeah, we have 300 cookies actually. And so we're like, cool, can we have like 100 of them and bring them over to the tens place? And they're like, sure. So we're going to cross out the 3, drop that down to 200, bring 100 over to the tens, or in other words, we know that 10 tens is equal to 100. So our 0 is going to become a 10 because we have 10 tens now, okay? Cool beans, back in business. We're not done yet because we got to get those cookies all the way back over to our 1 spot. So now we're going to be like, hey, those 10 tens cookies, can we borrow like 110 and bring them over to the 1 spot? And they're like, sure. So we're going to cross out our 10 and write a 9 and bring one of those groups of tens over to the ones place. So it's like saying now 3 plus 1 group of tens is equal to 13, okay? So now we're going to cross out the 3 and we're going to write 13. I like to cross out the numbers just to remind myself, otherwise it gets kind of complicated. And you can see, especially when you have a 0 in the tens place or the hundreds place or even the ones place, it gets kind of tricky sometimes. Okay, let's see if we can do our subtraction now. We're going to start with the ones column. 5 from 13 is 8, or 13 minus 5 is equal to 8. 1 from 9, careful, don't do 0 or 10, we have 9 now, or 9 minus 1 is equal to 8. And 2 from 2, or 2 minus 2, would be equal to 0. So we have 88 would be left over. If we were to do a ballpark estimate, we could ask ourselves, what number is 303 closer to? Is it closer to 300, or is 303 closer to 400? I'm going to round to 100s here. Could say it's definitely closer to 300, so that would be our ballpark estimate for 303. If we look at 215, is that number closer to 200, or is 215 closer to 300? And if you think about a number line, you know how 15 is much closer to 0 compared to 100. So 200 is going to be our ballpark estimate for that. If you subtract 200 from 300, you get 100, so our answer should be somewhere around 100, which it is because our answer is 88. So there is an example of using the trade first algorithm for 3 digits with an extra little trick in the middle there and ballpark estimates as well. Awesome job, you guys. We'll see you later. Mr. Nutty says bye as well.